Hello everyone, and welcome to Big Jano's livestream presentation of the Gingerbread City Holiday Light Show display. In just a few moments, you will see Big Jano's 3D printed holiday project come to life like you have never seen before. This 100% 3D printed display has addressable LED lights and audio, synced together with some festive music for a one-of-a-kind experience only Big Jano could create. We invite you all to sit back and relax, as it is almost time for the show. Just a reminder, normal stream alerts have been turned off, and Big Jano will be responding to chat in a limited manner for the duration of the show. All normal chat rules still apply, and moderators will address anyone violating these rules. Thank you, and enjoy the show. Hello! I didn't see you there. Welcome in. You're just in time for another festive story with our Gingerbread Factory crew. This story begins with our gingerbread workers coming off last year's massive success and gingerbread production output being the highest it's ever been in factory history. With everyone preparing for what many are suggesting is going to be their largest volume of gingerbread production yet, the factory workers decided to take a train ride to Gingerbread City to see the sights, get inspired, as well as stock up on all the necessary supplies for production. With a trip like this into the big city, who knows what's in store? But don't worry, in Gingerbread City, nothing bad whatever happens here. Seems like there's a shift in the air, like an ominous presence filling the city. Oh, I wonder what it means, but it certainly doesn't sound good. It seems like holiday spirit levels of the city folk are at an all-time low and sinking deeper. People just aren't in the holiday spirit, and they're more focused on boring, less festive things like taxes and business meetings. Something or someone must be behind all this. Of course, it's those no-good executives from Fruitcake Incorporated. I should have known they will infiltrate the city bakery and spread their boring and bland fruitcake to disrupt the flow of gingerbread. It's bumming out the town and ruining the holiday spirit. The Gingerbread crew need to do something to bring back the city to its festive roots. So quickly, they think to fight fire with fire. If Fruitcake is causing this mess, maybe they can work together to share the joy of gingerbread and reverse the curses placed upon the city. Heck, it's just crazy enough to work. It's the battle of Fruitcake versus gingerbread. Through the passion and fight of the gingerbread workers and the power of holiday spirit, the Fruitcake Incorporated execs have backed down, and gingerbread has once again become the holiday baked food of choice in Gingerbread City. And look! The citizens are starting to bring back signs of life and joy into the holiday season in Gingerbread City, and the status quo is starting to restore. With their side quests to the big city and to help restore the gingerbread spirit, the factory crew are renewed again, with full holiday spirits and supplies in tow, to head back to the factory to begin holiday gingerbread production. Safe to say, this trip really reminded the workers that their passion and craft are what keep people going to be better every day. And it's that pride and joy that makes the holiday season one to share with the people you love. And with that, our story comes to an end. Like I anticipated, the good guys come out on top once again. What adventures will the gingerbread factory workers get into next? Well, that's a story for another day. Take care of yourselves and one another. Happy holidays. And like my friend Big Jano says, keep doing it big. Thank you everyone for watching Big Jano's Gingerbread City Holiday Light Show display. We certainly hope you enjoyed the show and its festivities. Please stand by and continue to stay on the stream to participate in a Q&A session hosted by Big Jano himself regarding this year's 2025 holiday project. If you are interested in helping financially support Big Jano's future projects, or would like to help contribute to next year's holiday project, please check out the ways you can support Big Jano through his YouTube profile links, through YouTube Super Chats, purchasing YouTube memberships to Big Jano's channel, or by checking out Big Jano's merch store or 3D model membership pages on Thanks 3D and Printables. Thank you all for watching, and happy holidays!
Well, there you go, everybody. Our 2025 Holiday Project Light Show. What'd you guys think? I watched this thing for the first time in full yesterday. And I thought I thought last year we couldn't top it, but I think I'm mistaken myself. But welcome on in. Give me 1 second, everybody. Let me get my camera settings back, and let me get settled in here. Welcome on in. I hope you guys enjoyed the show. Thank you all so much for being here. And yeah, we'll talk about this. All right, let me get my camera. There we go. All right, let me see. There we go. I think we're good now. Awesome. Welcome on in, everybody. Great to see you all here. Hope you all enjoyed the show as much as I did just now. But welcome on in to the first of 2 showings tonight of our Gingerbread City Holiday Project light show display extravaganza, whatever you want to call it. I'm going to drag one of my screens to the other side here just so I can keep an eye on everything. But great to see you all here. Welcome on in. For those that do not know me or are new to the channel, let me introduce myself to all of you. My name is Big Jano. I'm an engineer by day, but by night, I like to game, I like to 3D print, and create awesome things here on social media a few nights a week. Alrighty. Chat, that was our light show display. 26 minutes in length. We were about, it was like 5 more minutes than last year's show. Hang on a second. There we go. Trying to get the background music going. But yeah, the light show display, 26 minutes long, about 5 more minutes than we did last year. I told you all, if you guys were in the Twitch streams earlier last week, that the music I thought was probably the best collection of music that I was able to find for the show. And the music played such a huge part in the show as well. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed all of that and the music. We'll talk a little bit during the stream as well. You guys just saw the show. Welcome on in. Let me just make sure I welcome in everybody. Traxman, welcome in. Good to see you. RC Maniac, welcome in. Tin Talon, welcome on in. Polymorph, welcome in. Clownhammer, welcome on in. Bearded Printer, welcome on in. Sue 3D Prints, welcome on in. Pezliz, welcome on in. K2 Kevin, welcome in. DJ Midnight Wolf, welcome in. Nicholas, welcome in. And everyone else lurking in the background. Oh no, you missed it. You have to rewind to watch it. Absolutely. I am going to be having a 9 p.m. showing Bearded Printer over on the Twitch channel. So if you missed any of the performance, you can definitely... A, you can rewind the stream right now. B, you can come by the Twitch stream tonight, a little bit later tonight, around 9 p.m. We're going to do a matinee, or I guess an encore performance... Not matinee. An encore performance of the light show over on the Twitch channel. And also, for those that aren't here tonight, I will keep the live stream up, and I'm also going to be recording a standalone version of the show. So just like the 26 minutes of the show, I have a recording of that that I also I'm going to be posting that on the YouTube channel in the next day or two. So the live streams will be available if you guys miss anything. I'm also going to be reposting the show in its full length on the YouTube channel in the next day or two, so you guys can go back and watch it how many other times you want, and it will be there until YouTube ever decides to take my account off the internet. So yeah, so for the rest of the stream tonight, we'll see how time goes, because we'll have a hard stop at a certain point in time tonight, so I can reset the show and get ready for the second of 2 streams tonight. We'll talk about the project in a little bit more detail. We'll break down everything. If you guys have any questions, you guys are more than welcome to ask me as well about the light show, about the gingerbread display, the Gingerbread City, and anything you guys might want to talk about with the project. As this is kind of the end of a very long 2 months of pretty much nonstop work. If you guys have been around, especially on the Twitch channels, you guys know that we have been pretty much going nonstop with this project from mid-October onward. We've been the display has been fully customized designed. If I get the other screen on, maybe not that screen, but let me get the other screen back on. 1 second. There we go. And I gotta take off that. I guess we can, yeah, we can leave the other stuff on. So this is our entire 2025 holiday project, like I mentioned. Yeah, there's like a tiny time delay in the stream. Like it's like 3 or 4 seconds. I think it's just how YouTube does it. But let me catch up with chat real quick. Missed it by a minute. Oh, no worries, Clownhammer. There will be replays available, and again, there will be another showing of this live over on our Twitch channel. For those that are not familiar with our Twitch channel, our other live streaming platform where we're usually there 2 nights a week, and where we worked on this project pretty much in real time from mid-October to now. So if you guys were interested in seeing everything in between the start of a project and the end of a project, go check out the Twitch channel. There's a link in the description of this video and this live stream. If you guys are over on Twitch, go join, go follow the Twitch channel, so you guys know, you guys will get alerted when I go live. And we worked on this pretty much on our Twitch streams pretty much for the last 2 months. We started with a design pretty much out of thin air. I did have a little bit of I should have opened Fusion before the stream started. I might be able to pull up Fusion if it doesn't completely kill the bandwidth of the stream. But we can showcase the display in its entirety here in a second. But over 50 individual part files for this display this year. Love the music, light show, narration. Oh, thank you, Tin Talent. Yeah, all the narration, if you guys didn't catch on, that was also myself. All the work I've done with some little bit of voiceover work and a nice little voice modulator app that I was able to play with. It's actually the same narrator I used from last year, so I paid our narrator again for this year's performance. But speaking of narration too, that was one of the things I really wanted to do was add a little bit more of a story behind this year's the show. So that's why you guys heard some little narrated bits in between the music to kind of like actually tell a story throughout this whole thing. Like unlike last year where we kind of had like a beginning and an end, there was things all throughout the middle, and there was a little bit more of a plot line this year. So. Must step away for more dinner. No worries, RC. Thank you for keeping an eye on chat. I appreciate you. And I will see you very soon. Beer printer, what's Fusion? It's a software that sometimes makes me mad. Speaking of Fusion 360, I think it was starting to not like me after having all these components all together. Let me see if I can. I want to see if I can pull it up here. It might bork the stream, so just fair warning. Don't leave. Worst case, refresh the stream after a few seconds, because Fusion sometimes takes up a little bit of bandwidth. So I've had issues with it during streams, like on our Twitch channel. So we'll see. I'll pull up the actual model itself. And there's also a link to the 3D printed files as well. If you guys are interested in this display, it is actually free to download at this very point in time. And while Fusion's loading, I can load up that link if I pull it up here. I forgot to change my overlay, so bear with me. I think we're okay. But this is over on Printables. I will copy and paste the link to this in the chat. Oh, I almost put this in the Twitch chat. Whoops. Hang on a second. Ooh. You guys don't want to see the behind-the-scenes screen? No. I will pin this as well. There we go. But this is the official name for this is the Festive Gingerbread Cityscape. It is a 50-some, or there's 52 files, but I think there's a duplicate file in here somewhere. I realized that after the fact. I think it's down here. It's one of the 3MF files. I think one of these 3MF files is the same. And I haven't taken it off yet. I should. But all of these parts, for those that are interested, this is a kit. everything should be able to print on most printers, with the exception of the center base piece. If I zoom in on that, I don't know if I can or not. I don't know if I've top down of it or not. But let me see. I should. I thought I did. But everything goes together fairly easily. Each of these parts has a little cutout for like a little standing tab that kind of sits into place. But with everything, with the exception of maybe the center base piece and the center sidewalk piece, everything can be printed on a smaller printer. Everything's broken down into smaller pieces. Everything on my end was printed on a Prusa XL, which is about 360 by 360 millimeters. So if you have a Prusa XL, you should be able to print all these no problem. If you have a smaller machine, you can always break down some of these parts in your slicer. You can always cut them into different smaller pieces. But I really tried this year to make this easier for everyone to print. For the most part, there are some parts that, I had to break apart the skyscraper building. That's actually in two parts. There's an upper half and a lower half. I theoretically can print this whole tower on my Prusa XL back there, but it was getting to the point where it was like almost a foot tall. I mean, the model itself is almost a foot tall. So I did end up breaking that down into halves just to make it a little bit easier. Also, everything was printed on my Prusa XL with two tool heads. So if you have a multicolor printer, you can easily do this. You can paint in the slicer, you can paint all the parts, and make this customizable to how you want it. I have to give thanks to Prusa as well. Prusa sponsored. They didn't sponsor this project, but they sponsored a 2 toolhead upgrade kit, or 1 to 2 toolhead upgrade kit for my Prusa XL back in early November. And because of that upgrade kit, to add a second toolhead to my printer back there, I was able to print these parts a lot easier this year. All the decorating came from the print itself. There wasn't a ton of extra hand decoration this year. I know some of you guys enjoyed that. I certainly enjoyed it as well. Unfortunately, just time constraints had me trying to finish up some of the detailing on this design, and there's some other little touches that I just didn't have a chance to get to. I wanted to add some more detailing to the front surfaces here, like the snowy areas in the front where the park's at. There's a couple other little details I wanted to add, but unfortunately time just got the best of me. We actually started this project later than we did last year's project, and I had a work trip. I got sick for a week, and it was just we had kind of a slow start to this, but the design itself was all kind of there's nothing that's super inspired by anything. I will say the fountain is inspired by, I was digging into some New York City park fountains, and something like this was kind of I kind of took that as an inspiration. You kind of saw a lot of Gothic architecture. I guess Gothic is the right word. It could be a different word for it. But that's kind of how I got inspired to make the fountain piece. The fountain itself is also broken into 3 smaller pieces, so you can all print these and put them together afterwards. I guess I should just go through everything and show you guys. I was super happy with all the tolerances for all the parts. All the buildings kind of fit in pretty nicely. There's no fit issues this year. Last year we had some fitting issues with all the parts put on the base. There's a top-down view. So there's actually 5 base pieces, and then there's a bunch of other pieces that sit back there. There's the tree, there's the fountain, and there's also this frozen lake. I also tried to add some other smaller details, like the snowman without its head. There's also a snow angel in the print as well. There's also little footprints to the snowman. Those came out really clean in the model as well. So if you guys print this or decide to download it, definitely go check it out. Definitely print this if you have time. It's a fun project for kids, adults, anyone over the holidays who gets a 3D printer, maybe wants to have some Christmas decorations. This is a really cool model. If you guys, first and foremost, if you guys are not following me over on Printables, please go give me a follow. That's my name, Big Jano there. Give this model a like, download the model. It is in the holiday contest over on Printables as well, so any support of the model is appreciated. But it is free at the moment. I am actually starting to transition a little bit more of my model designs over to printables from Thangs. However, my following on printables is too small at the moment to shift gears in terms of having a club where I could have select models, you know, exclusively on printables under either, and have an opportunity to have paid models as well. So if you guys are not following me, go give me a follow so I can boost. I think I need like 150 followers. I'm at like 100. So I am going to be starting to post more designs in the future over here, I believe. I'm not getting rid of things completely at this point in time, but I'm starting to kind of focus a little bit more on printables. After thinking about it a little bit more over the last couple months, I use my Prusa machines more than my other ones combined, all the other ones combined. So it makes sense to post my models over here, where I'm using my Prusa XL quite a bit. So, but that model is available for you guys, so go check it out. It's pinned in the comments. Let me catch up with chat, because I have my chat window in the wrong spot. I should move it actually back over here. There we go. How big is the entire display? That's a good question. So, if you guys are familiar with last year's display, let me see if I can pull it up real quick. Give me 2 seconds. So that centerpiece, so there's 5 base pieces like I showed you. There are... On the 5 base pieces, sorry, I lost my train of thought for a split second. For the 5 base pieces, that centerpiece is as large as our entire display envelope from last year. And when I pull this up, I'll show you guys here momentarily. Just gotta get it up and running, and then we will explain. But last year's entire display, there we go. Let me know if you guys can see that. There we go. Well, you guys can kind of see it. I'll move it over to the side here. I'll move it up. But this is our entire display. Like I said, there are 5 base pieces. You have this corner, you have your center square. Oh, you can see it better from the bottom. Your center square, and then you have these 2 front pieces. They all have little notches in them, so it's easier for that to all kind of stay in place. It's not like a puzzle piece friction fit, but it's just enough so it's not going to slide around left and right, up and down. But this centerpiece here, this centerpiece is 350 by 350 millimeters. That was the envelope of our entire display from last year. So if you guys remember last year's display, if you guys went to any of the events last year I was at, like 3D Printopia, Rocky Mountain Rep Rat Festival, Murph, the display last year was only this size. So this year is, I would say it's about 2.5 times larger. It's about 20 inches, 20 to 22 inches wide, and it's about, let me measure. I forget what the measurement on the front to back is. It's like 8 or 9. No, it's actually longer than that. Let's see. It's okay, so it's 20 inches width up and down this way. And then if I go from like corner to corner, roughly, this is going to be approximate dimension. It is, I can't read it, 33.5 inches. So almost 3 feet wide and a little over 1.5 feet long. Or like, let's reverse that. 3.5 feet long, or 33.5 inches long, 20 inches wide. So this is a pretty decent sized display. It takes up a good chunk of the table over here. Yeah, 51 or 52 parts total in this entire display. All of this was modeled in Fusion 360. Some things were a pain in the ass, I'm going to be honest, to model in this software. Some of this stuff should have been done in a different software like Blender. But it still, I think it still came out pretty okay. But all of this was hand designed. It's tough to see on the camera on the streams. But we added like a lot of different details. I think this is the most detailed model that I've ever done to date. You can see like all the brick pattern texturing on this building. This is the apartment building. For those that didn't know what each of the buildings were, this is an apartment building. This is the Gingerbread Hotel. And the sides, you guys didn't see the sides of this, but the sides are decorated as well. Have like little frosted decorations. That's kind of the aesthetic, was to have everything like frosted and decorated. Other sides like that as well. You got your apartment building over here. You got the skyscraper as well over here, which was all custom painted in the slicer as well. This is all printed in one piece. You have the train station with the rail as well, which you guys couldn't really see that on the camera just because I was trying to get a good camera angle on all of this for the show. And that was the best one I was able to come up with, to have everything kind of elevated up a little bit, but I didn't want to be at ground level for everything. So I kind of had to compromise with the camera angle a little bit. But the train station over here, I think the train station of everything on this display is my favorite piece. For those that live near Denver, this is kind of semi-inspired by Union Station over in Denver. I kind of took the front of that and kind of got inspired by that, like this section here with the arches. The bottom half, not so much, but the top half, 100%. But you got the sidewalks pieces over here as well. And everything with the side, like everything fits into the base pieces. So like there was cutouts for the road pieces, the sidewalks. I don't even think you guys can see the road pieces that much, but made these little tiny road pieces that all kind of fit together. We have all the side buildings over here. Here's the side of the skyscraper as well. I added a little frosted elements to the side, so it looks like it was like hand decorated, hand frosted. Those came out really well. And then what else do we have over here? We have the little business buildings, I like to call them. We got the Gingerbread Cafe, which you guys can't see. There is a little like decorated tree on the side of this piece. And then we have little window inserts, which are hard to see as well. We got the Gingerbread City Bakery. We got the cafe. And then we got, of course, my favorite building, the hardware store. That's almost as big as my ego. I don't know, Beard Printer. You're, I would say that's like your Dummy 13 model. That's up there. It's that size. No, I'm kidding. I'm just kidding. But anyway, yeah. So all of these little details in the model here were actually printed with the 2-tool Prusa XL. Everything on this display was printed on the Prusa XL. With the exception of maybe like the little window. No, actually, I'm trying to think. I think everything was printed on this machine. I think maybe like other than, I think a couple of the sidewalk pieces were printed on another printer just because of time. But 95% of this display was printed on the Prusa XL 2-tool machine. Everything came out pretty nicely. I think I had to maybe reprint one or two things just because of either layer shifts, and then I did have a power blip one of the prints I was printing. Actually had a power blip printing this big and tall piece. So this took about with my settings I had, I think this print took 2 days if I wanted to print it all in one holistic piece. But each half took about a day. I printed all of this in like a week's time on one printer. So next year I'm going to try to incorporate some like single color prints or single color models if we do this again next year, just so I can use my other printers. Because I kind of heavily relied on the 2-tool XL for many of these designs because they were gingerbread colors. They were brown and white. So that was I think one of the few downsides with this project this year that I probably should have kind of... It made it less efficient for me. It really didn't make it any less efficient for the project. It took a little bit more time than... the modeling itself took the longest time about all this. Printing everything took about 1 week nonstop, week and a half. And then the light show programming actually only took about a week. I started about a week ago on last Monday, and finished this late Sunday night this week. So... and I didn't work on it every single day this week, but when I did work on it, I would spend 3 to 4 hours a night working on the light show. And we'll talk about the light show here in just a moment too, and kind of get a look of that in more detail. But But you guys you can see the little snowman without its head on there. There was a lot of details I added to this year, and like I said, I think this is the most detail I've put on any type of display or any type of project. I know some things could be better modeled in Blender or, you know, another modeling software that's more organic modeling. But I think everything came out fairly nicely. You know, there's still a lot of details I'm really happy about. The little ticket counter over here. The tree came out really nice in multicolors. For those that are wondering what colors are what on display, if you guys were looking at the printables listing, I used the majority of filament in this project was Polymaker. I did not, this was not sponsored, the filament was not sponsored by Polymaker. I ended up paying out of my own pocket for this project. I wanted to support Polymaker, and at the time of buying all the filament, they were having all their Black Friday deals, so it made it a lot more affordable for the project this year. However, if we do end up going any bigger next year, or if we do anything larger than this, I might reach out to a couple filament companies to help sponsor this project, because this took up a good, like, maybe I bought 10 spools of filament for this project, and I think I went through maybe 5 or 6 full spools, with the exception of a couple colors I bought. So I did use quite a bit of filament for this project, especially on the bigger buildings. But the train station, the skyscraper, and the bakery building were all printed in Starlight Jupiter Polymaker filament. The apartment building, the hotel, and the other 2 little buildings over here, the hardware and the cafe, were printed in the Polymaker Army Brown matte. So I wanted to mix up the gingerbread colors a little bit, to kind of give an old and new aesthetic. Like the buildings, like these ones are a little older looking. I wanted to give the older buildings, most of the older buildings, like the matte brown look for the more traditional building color. That's the color I've been using for all my gingerbread projects the last 5 years. For those that don't know, we've done a gingerbread house or gingerbread display the last 5 years of this channel, and the Army Brown matte has been my go-to color. But this year I wanted to use some Starlight Jupiter. It's a really nice color. It's a really it's like a little bit more bronze. It's a little bit more metallic. And I used that on the bakery and like the newer buildings, like the skyscraper and the train station, just to kind of have a mix of colors. It's kind of hard to see in the display. Like if I go back down to the top-down screen, it's hard to tell. If I turn the light on completely, you'd be able to notice it. But I kind of like those different shades of the brown there. The frosted white material is matte white or cotton white from Polymaker. The red and the green. The red was Zombie Hedgehog's Galaxy Red PLA from Polymaker. The green was Galaxy Dark Green. Also, the red and green used over here as well in the... Sorry. The red and green were the Galaxy Red and the Galaxy Dark Green from Polymaker on the tree, as well as the red and green over on the signs. The only things that were not printed in Polymaker filament were the base... Well, some of the base pieces. The 2 base pieces with the frozen lake. The frozen lake color, the blue, was actually New Makers. They're ice blue silk PLA. Trying to think what other colors I used in this. I think I used EPAC's natural clear PLA for the window inserts, because that was the only clear, like, natural PLA color I had at the time. They came out really nice. I'll see if I can zoom in on the display, but. And then the little bit of gold on the ribbons, I think I used a different filament too. I think I used printed solid, but Polymaker I used for 99% of this, or like 95. But and then I used a little bit of leftover stainless steel PLA for the fountain pieces, and some dark gray PLA Pro. I had to use 2 different colors there, but yeah, this is the front look of the display itself. If I hold it up. You guys can kind of see that I was kind of trying to get a nice wide, like, panoramic shot with this model. Unfortunately, I couldn't get the camera exactly that view, but I think display looking like, if you look at it from the front here, you get a little bit of everything, and there's not a lot of gaps, which I really liked. Power failures were the bane of my summer too. Lost 3 big pieces of Krampus today. Oh, I can imagine. Yeah, I've actually been really lucky with power blips. For the last like 6 months or so, I've only had the one, and that was when that happened back in November. Around Thanksgiving time, I had a power blip, and it was printing the big skyscraper piece. So kind of had to reprint that, and then I think after that there was maybe one other smaller piece that I had to reprint. I think it was like the tree I had to reprint. There was a small layer shift in that, so I had time to reprint that. But the Prusa XL2 tool was chugging along for the most part. No major issues, but it took about a week and a half nonstop printing on that machine, and setting numerous timers to wake up in the middle of the night to go swap filament. Not fun, but I had to keep things moving along, so in order to meet the deadlines. And considering that this display is 2.5 times larger than last year's, and we had 2 less weeks to work on this than last year, from start to finish, the modeling, getting the lights incorporated, and working on the light show, I'm actually pretty impressed with myself trying to get everything done in time. I'm very surprised we actually got everything done in time. Is it gonna connect to the? I saw this up in chat. I thought I saw this in chat. Is it going to interconnect with the factory? Potentially. I've gotten that question a couple times, and as of right now, at some point in the future, possibly. I don't know how yet. But as you guys know, the storyline for this one kind of had a continuing story from last season. But the base thickness of all these pieces, like all these base pieces here, are all the same thickness as the base from last year. So in theory, it could. Have I thought about how I'm going to connect everything together yet? No. But that would be ideal if I can. After how many years of doing it, we just have like a big village and whatnot. I don't anticipate making a giant mega display with all the future displays or past displays. But I wouldn't rule it out that I could have a full like village, you can call it. But yeah, all these pieces, other than like, I'm trying to think, like other than no glue is involved other than maybe gluing in these little signs. The awning piece is actually a separate piece as well. The roof pieces are separate, so you can print the roof separately. Also, you guys probably didn't see this, but there is this little detail in here. You can't escape frosted billboards in Gingerbread City. Would be cool to build an entire city display like that. Yeah, I mean, eventually that would be the ultimate goal. But I have not thought about that yet, and I probably won't think about that for a while. If we do this again next year, I had a couple themes floating around. I don't want to share too much because I might use those for next year. But it actually took me a minute to finalize the theme for this year. I kind of like the cityscape theme, but then I was like struggling to figure out a storyline with it, and then it kind of, I forget what day it was. It kind of just clicked on me, and I kind of ran with it. And we didn't look back at that point because we were short on time. We were still designing things, and we were still trying to figure out the design of everything, and I didn't want to go too far down the road and then switch the theming and the story and all that. So, yeah, that's the entire display itself. I'll flip this around so you guys can see the back side of this too, because you guys didn't see that in the display. But everything was pretty easy to print. I didn't really have any major issues. There's not a ton of supports needed for all these parts, so that's a plus. And for anything that looks complicated, like the fountain piece, like this all breaks down into smaller pieces, so you don't need supports on a lot of this stuff. You can use supports on like the overhangs on the doors or like on the sign holes. I actually did not need supports on these windows here. I did not need supports on these windows or any of like these windows here on the hotel, or even on like this stuff here. It all printed pretty nicely without supports. The billboard's separate. And you can slice these out. You can kind of cut these in smaller pieces if you want to. If you have a smaller machine, you want to break things down. But in the printables file, there are 3MF files that have all these broken into multiple plates. So you guys can kind of take a look at how I did that, and it should help you a little bit there. So, oh, thank you. Yeah, like I said, thank you for the kind words, everybody, about the model. This was probably my most detailed model to date, and it was a challenge, to say the least. I didn't break these down into components like many of you guys wanted me to. Excuse me. There are so many bodies in here. If I go through this entire screen, and you guys were wondering about the iteration levels. We're at version 298, just under 300 iterations of this design. Actually, you guys want to see the little timeline of everything in Fusion? I'll play it up real quick. Let me just go up here. I'll play that, and then we'll talk about the light show and the lights, and then we'll wrap things up here. But I clicked on the little timeline at the bottom. You guys can kind of see everything from start to finish. Once it loads up, you'll see. I think I started with the bases, but I kind of was sporadic on which way I went with directions and how to detail certain things. At one point, I felt like I was never getting this done, and I probably could have spent more time on designing everything. But I kind of had to throw in the flag at one point where it just needed to get done. So you guys can kind of see, I think the fountain was like the first thing I did. The fountain is actually super easy to make in the model. I just kind of did a lot of, there was a lot of patterning in this display for sure. Lots of mirroring, lots of patterns, lots and lots of trial and error, a lot of details that my computer had to process. There's a lot of computing with a lot of these patterns and designs. But I wish this went faster. This is gonna take a minute. I usually like to try to do like base shapes and try to get a size idea and try to get everything in an envelope before I really focus on details. And that's kind of what I did here. You guys can kind of see kind of how things were laid out. For those that came in the Twitch streams a little like back in October, November, we were on this step of it like pretty long. Like it took like a week or two to even get past this kind of stuff. So, I can't stop this or else it's going to go back to its full screen. But yeah, after the main buildings were all in place, I started doing some like rough work on the windows, on the small business buildings. I call them the business buildings because that's like the little business sector on the far right side. And we have the city district in the center, which is the skyscraper, the apartment, the hotel, and then the train station on the left side. I actually did want to make a model of a train for the display. Unfortunately, I ran out of time, and I just didn't have the time to design a train. So I know that was something I was really looking forward to, maybe adding a little train to the train station. At one point, I also considered adding like a servo motor to make a little train move in and out of the station at that beginning part where you guys heard the train whistles coming into the train station early at the very beginning of the show. There are ways you can actually use servo motors in xlights, which I'll show you guys in xlights, the software that I use for the light show here in just a moment. There's actually ways to incorporate servos into all that. So, if I had more time, I would look into that. Maybe add some moving elements to this next year if I do another display. I'm still undecided if we're going to do this again next year. If we do this again next year, I definitely want to make this, maybe refine this down a little bit. One of the things I probably, I use it to my advantage with the lights, but there's a lot of empty space in this design in the front, and I probably could have made the overall profile of the display a little bit smaller, at least on the front side. I could have probably taken out those two front base pieces, or I could have reincorporated those a little bit further back, so it's like less parts to print. But I mean, that's a small gripe. But you guys can see now I'm like starting to get some of the details into like the skyscraper here. And everything's like super small scale. Like these are like if you think about this, all these buildings were designed for like ant-sized people. But I think after that, we worked on the train station. The train station took up a good chunk of time. I had to work a lot of that off of our live streams, and work on the train station detailing, because there's quite a bit of detailing in this. A lot of patterning in those arches. All those cross patterns took me a good time to sketch out, to model. The skyscraper wasn't too bad, just a lot of patterning and getting things worked. I had to actually fix up the model on that a little bit. I had to go back and refix something major on the skyscraper at one point. Lots of construction planes, a lot of things. I should have done this. I apologize. This is gonna take forever. Maybe you can add another section of the base and details next year. Yeah, that's my idea. Is it gives me the flexibility to add on to this next year, because the base pieces are all the same thickness. They're not going to look different. Like, they're not going to look weird. That's the kind of the idea. I want to keep that option open. So if I do want to connect to things, or if I want to connect this display to next year, in some way, shape, or form, like that's, I still have to think about how I want to do that. But it leaves that door open. So yeah, I agree. I would like to be able to connect to the things at the, 5 years from now, if we do 5 more displays of this, I don't know if, I'm not saying we are, but if I do 5 more displays, it would be cool to have them all kind of connect together somehow and make like a giant, holiday village. You know how they sell those like big holiday village kits? I'm sure you guys are familiar. But yeah, that's kind of the idea, would be to be able to do that, and be able to make like mega displays. I don't know with getting everything lit up. That's a whole nother battle, but I'll talk about here shortly. We did actually have to. I did have to pivot on some of the direction with the light strips and and the controller and the power supply, with some of the intent that I initially had. So, we'll talk about that here when this is kind of finished up. But yeah, a lot of detail went into this, more than I probably should have made effort for. But I think in the end everything turned out pretty nicely. I still have to. I was gonna try to render this into like a nicer 3D render, which I might do. I might if I have time. We'll see. What am I on? Oh, it's working on the apartment building. I had to pattern all those those square windows. If you guys can kind of see that. I don't know why. Why did I click on that? Shouldn't have clicked it. Can I cancel? I can. It's gonna take forever. I can. I'll make a time lapse of that, and you guys can see it. I think I did that last year. I did like a recap video, like a behind the scenes recap of this whole project. I made a video for the YouTube channel. I'll include a time lapse of that, or I'll make a time lapse and I'll post it on social media. But I have to speed it up, or else it's gonna be it's gonna take a while. There are a lot of different things in the timeline. As Bearded Prince would say, it is we did respect the timeline, but it's a massive timeline. And it's going to take me just as long to get back to its original state than it is to... maybe? Nope, it's still going. There we go. Everything back to normal. But yeah, you can see all these little windows were all these were patterned. All these little diamond shapes were patterned in as well. Also, it took me a long time to paint everything in the slicer. All these little diamonds had to be painted in the slicer. All the windows had to be painted in the slicer. Like it, I spent more time painting the models in the slicer, in Prusa slicer, than I did printing at some points. It got crazy at some points here. But yeah, I'm very happy with how the whole design turned out this year. Just very, very nicely done. I was really proud of it at the end of the day. I would have added a little bit more detail to some things, but just did not have the time. But all things considered, I think things look pretty nicely. And the detail of everything, as you guys... I am going to be bringing this display to different events coming up here in 2026, so you guys will get a chance to see this display in person if you guys are showing up. And you guys will be able to see some of these details in person. Like all these little like knurlings on the sidewalls here all came out beautifully on the Prusa XL. You got the decorated top hat for the roof here. All the details printed out nicely. I think you guys would really enjoy this in person. This is going to be at Rocky Mountain Rep Festival. I am going to be bringing it with me when I go to Colorado in April. And I plan to bring it with me to other events as well in 2026. But I haven't planned what events, other than Colorado, what events I'm going to be at next year. But on the model side, that's about the model itself. Let's talk about xlights real quick. And briefly, you guys can kind of see this is our entire show from start to finish. xlights is the software that I use for the light show itself. I spent about a weekend getting all of the audio. I used all the audio used in the light shows from Epidemic Sound. All it like stitched together in my video editing software. Did all the narration, clipped all the narrated bits in between. Basically created the audio file for everything. And then once I was able to get the audio file, the 26-minute audio file, I'm able to start programming this. xlights, if you guys are familiar with xlights, it is the software you guys can use if you want to do a light show on your house. If you have lights on your house, this is the software you can use. It's free. It's open source. I believe there's a community behind the xlights as well. There's all sorts of different things you can do. There's like timers. There's all sorts of... You can go down a rabbit hole with xlights, but the short answer, the short version. This is kind of our layout for everything. So like you have all these little effects at the top here. You guys can't see because the Twitch banner thing popped up. But all these little things over here are effects you can drag and drop. You set up your controller in this tab. I have a it's called a Dig Quad. It's from Quinn LED. It has an ESP32 built in, and it has 4 outputs available. It's a custom built board that they sell. It has 4 outputs for 4 different LED strips, addressable LED strips. Has an ESP32 built in, has WLED pre-installed as well, so you can use WLED on this. If you didn't want to use xlights, you can still run all the lights through WLED, which is what they're running through right now with the twinkling. You set up your controller, you set up your layout. I had to set up a bunch of different groupings, so like in different aspects of the light show, you guys saw like the train station and the floor light up at the same time. In this tab here, you have to you basically create groupings of all your lights. So whether it be everything in one group, and then maybe you have just the floor and the train station as one group. Maybe you want the back 3 buildings, the train station, the skyscraper, and the buildings on the right as one group. You can have just the buildings by themselves. You could have the floor by itself. So you guys can see all the different groupings we had to create in order to be able to just customize what effects we're lighting up and what strips we're lighting up when. And it's not super hard of a process. It is a little daunting at first. Last year, trying to understand xlights and try to get through this was a huge learning curve. This year was a lot easier to get things set up. I just had to disable elements from last year's show into this year's, and we were able to start sequencing, which, like I said, from start to finish took about a week, which actually was a lot faster than I thought. But you can hold down control and zoom in. You can see things broken down at different parts of your audio track is up here, and you can select any frame of your audio track and you can play back certain elements. You can do all sorts of different things. You can actually click on each effect, and it gives you, in the preview window, it actually shows you your preview on your model itself. So I clicked on this. This is the floor of the floor lights, which you guys can kind of see. Those yellow and blue twinkling lights, that's the effect here. It's a single strand effect. This is a ripple effect, which you guys kind of saw. There's different things you can do, and what's cool about this is each effect has different toggles that you can adjust, and you can play around with the settings. You can make things faster, slower. Up here in the left corner is where you can change your colors. And there's ways you can fade in, fade out. There's different like timing things you can do. There's you can actually set timers. If you had like an outdoor light show, you can actually set timers for everything. So you don't have to sit at your computer while the light show is going on. You can have it set to a timer, and like at certain times it will play the show. I'm using I use the majority of the effects listed in here. There's a couple effects that I just couldn't use because I don't have the type of prop to use them on. There's audio enabled effects. There's faces, like if you had like a face, like a light up face, that's effects for that. There's other effects if you have like a little built-in trees, like those little like LED trees in your yard. You can actually they have a tree effect. And there's a bunch of other effects that are for certain props if you have like an outdoor light show. But most of these effects were actually, I played around with all sorts of different effects. You get the toggle colors. I try to diversify what was being used. That's another, like, this is what I think is a shockwave effect. I tried to incorporate as many different colors as I could. I also tried to keep the speed of some of these effects kind of like synced with the beat of the song or at the time. If you guys noticed that a little bit. This is like a pinwheel effect. I don't want to... I'll show a few more, but you can see the pinwheel effect here. How many songs do I have? Let's see. If I zoom out, let's see. There's one. Technically, there's bits and pieces of some songs in here because of the narration. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 7 full songs, I think. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 7 or 8 full songs. And then there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 3 or 4 like parts of tracks. Certain songs with the narration, I cut part of it out just because the narration's not as long as the song. But yeah, there was a lot of different music selected into this. I'm trying to. I gotta do a count here. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 full songs, and then there's another 3 or 4 broken down songs, where I use bits and pieces of it. But yeah, there was a lot of different music selected. You guys noticed there's a little bit more variety of music, a lot more theatrical stuff. I wanted to kind of make this more of like an actual experience. There was some festive songs in there as well, some holiday festive type stuff. One fun fact, and I don't think he's still here. RC Maniac, if you guys were here at the beginning, before the big saxophone heavy song at the beginning, where you heard the train coming in, you heard like the train effects, and then you heard like the saxophone, and you heard like the city noise. That actually was provided to us from our friend RC Maniac. That was actually live audio recording that he took while he was out and about in his neck of the woods, and sent me some white inner city white noise to use in the light show. So I think that's it's near the beginning. It's before that really big saxophone heavy upbeat song, before things start going chaotic with the evil fruitcake people. But yeah, there's a little bit of audio in there from our friend RC Maniac that he recorded some city white noise, and we got to utilize it in the show this year, which I thought was really cool. So, Tech Jeeper, welcome in. Good to see you. So yeah, there was like I said, this is about 5 minutes longer than last year's show. We actually, you guys heard the. And I actually have to wrap up here in a couple minutes because we got to reset the show and get ready for the next stream over on our Twitch channel. One more thing I'll mention before with xlights. So, not the finale song at the very, very end, but the song before that, the second to last full song. It was the song before the big narration at the end. That was actually supposed to be the original finale song. And then I stumbled across the very last song, like the encore ending song. And I listened to that, and I'm like, you know what? I got to add this in here. It was a really good ending number. I thought it's just really powerful. And I actually had to readjust my audio layout, my full audio track. I actually had to shift the song around. So I took the original finale song, moved it up in the show a little bit, and then added the actual finale song. So that's also why we have like another 5 minutes of music, because I couldn't decide what I wanted as my finale song, and I kept both of them in there at the same time. So and like I said before at the very beginning, I was very, very happy with how the music turned out. I thought the music music was part of the story itself as well. I thought the music for each section of the show really did it justice for what part of the story we were in. For anyone wondering, if my favorite song was the battle song, where it was the battle of the fruitcake and the gingerbread people. That song, that was my favorite of the bunch. Second favorite was the finale song, the very end song, and then the third one, my third favorite was the that like saxophone heavy in the city song. So but yeah, I am gonna wrap up the stream because it's already 8:30. I have another live stream performance of the light show itself happening over on the Twitch channel at 9 p.m. The stream on that's gonna open up at 8:45. So in about 15 minutes, we're gonna actually get off of YouTube live stream. We're gonna go kick on over on the Twitch live stream, and we're gonna have another encore performance of the light show. So if you guys missed it, you can also replay this live stream to go back and watch it. B, come on over to the Twitch channel here in about half hour, 15 minutes, and watch it again. Or C, I am going to be posting a recording of the full light show from start to finish in its entirety. I already recorded it. I got to post it, and I'm going to be posting it in the next day or two. It's going to be a standalone video on the YouTube channel here. So you guys will have numerous opportunities to rewatch the stream. But if you guys can, definitely come by to the Twitch channel. We're going to go hang out over there as well. I decided to do 2 different streams this year just to incorporate different communities, the YouTube community and the Twitch community. So we're going to be kicking it on over there in just a few moments. But I do want to thank, and we can talk more over on the Twitch channel since we won't have a time frame as well. But that was our full holiday light show display. I'll give one more good look at it before we head on down, head out of here. And I'm just very happy how this project turned out. We got everything done somehow, and a lot more work and a lot shorter of a time frame. I'm safe to say this is the official ending of this project, but I'm very excited for this. I was very excited how it turned out of this project. The light show turned out fantastic, I thought. I hope you guys all enjoyed it. But for those that are not going to be able to watch the Twitch live stream here in a few moments, this is going to be my last YouTube live stream, and once the Twitch stream's over a little bit later tonight, these are going to be my last streams of 2025. I'm going to be taking some time off at the end of the year just to relax, unwind from the last couple months of this project, spend the holidays with some family and some friends, and then I'm going to spend some time in early January just kind of planning planning some stuff for 2026, maybe working on some other things. But I'm going to be taking some time off from streaming for a few weeks. But I will be back at some point in January of 2026. I don't know when or how long of a break I'm going to take, but I'm going to take a little bit of time to unwind, start planning, and maybe I would like to maybe work on some YouTube stuff as well. So you might see some more YouTube content here soon. If you guys are not part of the YouTube channel, definitely hit the subscribe button. If you guys already haven't, after watching that light show, first of all, you should, because you guys get to see more cool projects like that. So, but anyway, I want to thank you all so much for being here. You guys have been an amazing crowd. Thank you all so much for for being here and all your support. Thank you guys for being here early on a Tuesday night. But if you guys want to check out my other social media platforms, there are links in the about section of this video and the about section of my profile. Give this video a thumbs up if you guys haven't yet. That'd be greatly appreciated. And I will, if I don't see you on the Twitch stream here shortly, have a great Christmas, have a great holiday, have a great New Year if I don't see you before the end of the New Year, before the end of the actual year. And I will look forward to seeing you all again here in 2026. So, with that being said, thank you all again so much for being here. I greatly appreciate every single one of you. And until next time, folks, keep doing it big.